County government run by our deputy governor Titus Ntoshiedi huyo apigwe makofi. We have our county secretary Rufus Miriti. We have the chief of staff Gideon Kimathi, sijui yako wapi, and indeed all the county staff who happen to be here. Please stand up. We understand because of COVID. Yeah, we have Titus Murungi there and the others. Tuwapigie makofi wote. Arwaji yule alikuwa anatajwa ni yule ako na kofia. Yeah, he was the Secretary General of Jubilee in the entire Mount Kenya region. Lakini sasa ameama because we are doing another party. Now, before I make my short remarks, allow me to recognize two of my distinguished colleagues. So, you know, I was a member of parliament for many years, and the protocol demands that I recognize those colleagues who have come with the Prime Minister for this occasion. And the first, the member of parliament for Yala, Jadong. Please, I want you to come on the stage. Use that mic. Salimia kwa Kijaluo. Dr. Oburu Odinga is the elder brother of the Prime Minister. We have known each other for many, many years. And he was from Jaramogi's time. Mimi nimekuwa nyumbani kwao. So karibu sana Jaluo. Sanitize this for him. Sanitize this.
Asante sana, my brother, Honorable Kiraitu, for this opportunity. I want to thank the community of Meru who have invited us for this luncheon. I think this is a very, very good gesture, and I quite appreciate the young man who told us that there is a problem. But we also recognize that actually there is a problem, and that problem is why we have gladly come. And we have gladly come because we want that problem to be resolved. If you appreciate that what the demon that has been created of Raila is a reality which has sunk down to the people, actually it is our responsibility, all of us, to make sure that that demon is completely killed and buried once and for all. Because Raila is not a demon. Raila is a human being as you see him, and he has always been a good friend of the Meru. Starting from my dad, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga went with Jackson Angaine to Alliance High School. And they were very, very great friends. They were great friends even when Jaramogi went to the opposition. Angaine was one of the sympathizers of Jaramogi. I recall when there's a time when Angaine was the Minister of Lands, and Jaramogi was being kicked left and right, and they wanted even to take his land here in Githurai because they were saying that that was government land, and it was not true. We went with him, with Jaramogi, to see Angaine. Angaine told him, my classmate, you will never, never be punished or denied your right when I'm here seated in this seat of Minister of Lands. And he corrected it and gave them his rights. And from those days, I can also tell you that we really appreciate the Meru people. Because the Meru people, when Jaramogi was also being demonized in the Mount Kenya region. Yeah, and the multi-party was actualized in 1992. Jaramogi managed to get 2 members of parliament, the only, and one from Central, which was Paul Muite, and 2 from Meru, Honorable Kiraitu Murungui and Honorable Gitobu Imanyara. The 2 of them were elected from Meru, and they were the only ones. And Kiraitu here was a great friend of Jaramogi. I also want to tell you that Honorable Kiraitu was also the lawyer of Raila when Raila was charged first with treason and then later on detained without trial. Kiraitu stood out when everybody else, no lawyers, wanted to move near Raila. But Kiraitu stood up with him and represented him. So thank you very much, Your Excellency, for what you did for us. And we also now want to request, just humbly request, that the notion that Raila cannot climb Mount Kenya should be buried once and for all. We have started this journey all together. And Raila, once you accept, and I know the commitment of my friends like Ibui, we are going to explain to the people of Mount Kenya that we mean well for them. Raila is a businessman. There is no way he is going to punish business. Raila is also a professional. He is an engineer. There is no way he will punish the professionals. He will advance, and I know Mount Kenya people like business, and Raila himself is a businessman. So he will work with all of you, the business community who are here. Raila is going to advance business in this country, and is going to fight for peace, and also bury the hatchet which has been created between Mount Kenya and the lake, and bury that one once and for all, because it was all based on propaganda. And what is based on propaganda is very light. It will disappear very fast. It has been created over a long period of time, but Raila and Uhuru's handshake will bury that hatchet once and for all. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, listening to me.
So very well spoken, Daktari. Can we give him a big hand? The next one I want to invite is actually our in-law, James Orengo. Whenever I meet him, I tell him, Meru Dowry does not end. So let me invite him here. He was in Parliament long before me. I think he entered Parliament in 1988. We found him there in 1992. But even before that, he was our student leader at the university. And you know what we did during Karanja's time. So James is always at the forefront of the struggle. He's never afraid of anything. And I think even the freedom that we are enjoying today is largely because of the efforts of Senator Orengo, Jacom, and others. So, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Yeah, Senator. Yeah. Can you use this? Can you sanitize it for you?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I'll be very brief. As you know, half my relatives in the world come from the lake. Half my relatives in the world come from Meru. So I occupy a unique position at this event, and I'm delighted to be together with everybody who is here. Now, I would just want to say the following. In the world of politics, propaganda plays a role, but if it's carried overboard, it can destroy a nation. And we as Kenyans must be very careful about the use of propaganda in our midst. But many people have been demonized in the world. You remember Jomo Kenyatta was demonized by the colonial government. They said he was a leader unto death, but it turned the leader who, together with his compatriots, fought for the independence of this nation. I know even Kiraitu here was demonized. In the Kanu days, he had to run away from this country. But Kiraitu is a very gentle giant, from very harmless, as it says. Yeah. So I think we should really watch out on the question of propaganda, because it's one which causes division and political unrest if we cannot differentiate facts from propaganda. But I want to say that this great movement, thanks to the chairman and thanks to the governor, I don't think with God on our side we can go wrong. And Raila Amolo Odinga with his brother Uhuru Kenyatta getting together in that handshake was a great act of statesmanship. And I would want to say that President Uhuru Kenyatta has a degree of tolerance that is phenomenal. I hear sometimes the kind of names is being called, completely unjustified. Even in our days when we used to be in the trenches against President Moi, I don't think we ever went to that extent. But I just want to end up by saying that doctrinaire ideology can be very dangerous. People who come with simple solutions can lead people to disaster. Gaddafi came out with a movement where his statement was that you can create a nation with no political parties, that it was a movement, a government, a partyless government, but it was another name for dictatorship. When you talk about simple economic solutions like the one we are being offered, which has no structures, talking about, a way of transforming the nation without explaining how, I think we are in for a lot of trouble. But I am certain, Titus, you and the governor, His Excellency, this first step that you have made, I know the mountain and the lake are going to work together to bring unity and prosperity to this nation. That I'm certain about, and it's not exclusive. I think what we are fighting for is to bring everybody together under one roof so that we can make Kenya a greater and a more prosperous nation. And Governor, I wish you very well. Macarena, today I was seeing you on some video which has gone viral, and I thank you for doing that. You are so steady, so adamant, and I'm glad that you're working with Governor, His Excellency, Kiraitu Murungi. So thank you and God bless you.
Yes, conveniently forgotten to tell us about the dowry. But I'll remind him after this, don't worry. So can we give him a big hand? I think to close this bit, you have heard them say we were lawyers for the former Prime Minister, and I was not alone. We are a big law firm called Kamau Kuria, Kiraitu and Rengera Advocates, and we are the ones who are representing all the political detainees in Kenya around that time. And we were the forefront. We are the law firm which introduced constitutional litigation in this country before any other law firm. So allow me to welcome on stage one of the senior partners of Kamau Kuria, Kiraito, and Ringera advocates, who eventually became a Solicitor General and Judge and Executive Director of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Authority, and Judge of the Court of Appeal, and a Judge of the East African Court, Honorable Mr. Justice Ringera. Please come on stage. Can we welcome him as he comes? You can sanitize for him.
Your Excellency Raila Odinga, former Prime Minister, Your Excellency the Governor of Meru, Honorable Kiraito Murungi, all leaders present. A judge does not know how to greet people. He is used to people coming and bowing before him. So my friend Kiraito Murungi has put me in a difficult situation. But let me say that I had good occasion to interact with Excellency Raila Odinga during the Grand Coalition government, where he was the Prime Minister. It started on a rather unusual note for me, because there was competition between the Prime Minister and the Vice President as to who was senior to who in the pecking order. He didn't take it personally, didn't push his boundaries, but when we were called to address, I was called as a facilitator to address the cabinet on an induction session, and I didn't want to get to their fight. So I said, Your Excellency the President, members of the cabinet, I didn't want to be confused in protocol. And it didn't take me hard on that. We were able to talk thereafter. And I found myself with the reporting responsibilities to him as Prime Minister in the area of my portfolio. And I was able to see firsthand his leadership qualities. The Prime Minister was not a vindictive person at all. He bore no grudges. He had flexibility. You could say a practical kind of person, not an ideologue of any sort. Pragmatism was a hallmark for his leadership. He was also deeply concerned with meritocracy in government appointments and ensured that people of appropriate caliber were appointed to the right portfolios. He also believed in honest leadership. His crusade against corruption has not begun today. He championed it greatly as Prime Minister and was concerned with wherever excesses were and drew my attention to them for redress. I know from having traveled all over the world, from having read a lot, that what matters in any country, particularly in the developing country, is leadership, the quality of leadership. The former Prime Minister is a great leader. I personally would have no hesitation in supporting him in whatever position he seeks for this country, because I know he would make a difference to the country. I thank you, Governor.
The judge has read the judgment. So can we give him a big hand? I think we are all Christians, and I think the Bible says there's a time and a season for everything under the sun. And I think for us as Meru community, today is the day that the Lord has set for us to welcome His Excellency Raila Odinga to our leadership forum for this afternoon. Can we give him a big hand? Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga does not need any introduction at all. Even small children know him. You might like him or you might not like him, but you know him for sure. So I don't intend to introduce him because you know him. But I can give my own personal testimony that I've known, allow us to call you Njakom. Njakom in the Luo means chairman. He's the chairman of the chairman. So I've known Njakom for the last 40 years or so. I remember the first time that my picture appeared on the front page of the Daily Nation as a young lawyer was sometimes in 1984 when Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga had been brought to court from some detention because we had applied for him to be brought to court when Justice Muri was the Attorney General. We had just met with Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga in Shimoratewa prison that time. And since then, we have been together. We have fought many battles together with him to liberate this country from one part in dictatorship and tyranny. And I think people seem to forget. Now you can insult anybody without any threat to yourself, without detention, without trial. But all that freedom is because of Njakom. Can we give him a big hand? We have worked with him in and out of government. Sometimes we have fought many wars on the same side, but there are times when we have also fought against each other. Those moments are also there. We also worked closely when I was Minister for Energy, and he was my boss as the Prime Minister. He was very passionate about green energy. All this talk we in Kenya about green energy, it was actually his idea. And he took me first to Korea and then to France when we went to negotiate to bring nuclear energy to this country when people are so scared of the word nuclear. And even as we are talking, we have trained a lot of people. We set up a nuclear energy program for the country, and I want to thank him for that. We also came with a program of kerosene-free Kenya. We are the ones who are popularizing solar power in the country with the Prime Minister then. So there are many things about the Raila you don't know, which we can talk about. And the one who said Raila is a businessman, I know him. The round table used to have every month with the business people when he was Prime Minister to try to see how we can introduce ease of business and get things moving faster, for this country. The road network in the country was planned during his time when he was our Prime Minister. Even all those roads we are doing in Meru, they were done with him and Mongera, when Mongera was his PS. So I know that the capacity, of this man. The Raila I know is a strategist. The Raila I know is a man of ideas. He knows more history than many historians, although he's an engineer. The Raila I know is a man of great energy, focus, and determination. Nothing will stop Raila from going where he wants to go. And when he's in front, his troops will never be afraid. We did a lot of street protests in Nairobi, but they will never succeed without Jacom coming into the scene. I don't know how he was able to manage to bring all these crowns to Nairobi whenever we need them. So, that's Raila. He is also a man of compromise, a very realistic politician. When we thought Moi was so bad, Raila went to work with him. We were left with Jim Orengo, casting stones, against Raila for going to work with Moi. But finally, he's the one who rescued us by destroying Kanu from within. Raila was a hero. I think on the 14th of October, 2002, when he left Akinanyachai at having tea at the Serena Hotel, crossed over to Uhuru Park, and he came and announced that Kibaki Tosha. I think Kibaki became president on that day when Raila made that announcement. For us, when we've been castigating him before, all of a sudden, he became our greatest friend, he became our hero. And you remember, since Kibaki went to hospital shortly afterwards, it is Raila who carried the campaign, across the country, and saying when the captain is injured, the football must continue. So that time Raila became our Njamba. We had all the nice things to say about the man. Until 2007, when now he came to oppose Kibaki. Then 2013, against Uhuru, 2017. And now it was our duty as the strategists from both Kibaki and Uhuru to develop some fictions and some narratives which you are calling demonization. So we are the ones who demonized this man so that Kibaki can win. We are the ones who demonized him so that Uhuru can win. I can tell you from my position and the roles I played then, there was nothing wrong with Raila. But we had to make the man black so that we can win. And we won. But now the situation has changed. Kibaki is no longer running 2022. Uhuru is no longer running for 2022. So hiyo maongo wote tuweke kando. Raila is now a hero. He's a hero of the handshake. Even when they came with the BBI was a good document, and I supported it because as governor of Meru, I needed more resources to be able to uplift our people in Meru. BBI was giving me an additional 6 billion in Meru County, and I supported it all over, and the people are listening to us. And even now, we have not given up. Only part of BBI has been declared illegal by the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal, I've read that judgment several times. At no time did it say that giving that 5% to the counties is illegal. There's nothing like that. So, Mheshimiwa, we are still relying on you to continue with those aspects of BBI which are going to benefit our people. So as Council of Governors, we have sat down and we have discovered that we can bring in the 35% to the counties even without a referendum. We talked to Akina Maore, Akina James Orengo. We pass it through Parliament, even before the Parliament goes home, so that we can have that 5% coming to our counties. And then the World Fund is also not illegal. They will not be declared illegal by any court. The Youth Council are not been declared illegal. So those aspects of BBI, which we can salvage and bring through Parliament, we are going to continue that journey. We have said, although the court somehow declared the end of the road for BBI, the journey of BBI must continue, through other ways. Today is not my time to make a speech. I'm just giving some introductory remarks. We are here to talk politics. Hiyo mambo yote ambayo Castro alisema au Raila was demonized and what happened, that is history. Anything which happened until yesterday is history. That's not politics. Politics is what is happening today and what will happen tomorrow. So we are here to discuss not yesterday, not the way we demonize Raila. We have come to see what we are going to do together tomorrow and the day after tomorrow to uplift our people through politics. I've become skeptical about political friendships because politicians are strange animals. You see, people have not quarreled becoming enemies for no reason which you can't see. The friends of yesterday for no reason become enemies of tomorrow. And the enemies of yesterday, again for no reason, become friends of tomorrow. So me, I don't want to base our politics on personal friendships. That those ones that has lived the men and women, of this country. As politicians, we are bound together by interests. You scratch your back, I scratch. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. It is interest which bind us together. It is interest which divide us. So what I would like us to discuss here today are interests of Meru community. Are we together? And it's not a secret. We are talking with some of you to form a party which is going to promote the interest of Meru and our region and put it in the national political map. So we are here to hear Jacom talk not about yourself, but about us. So tell us about what you think about Meru and our interest as Merus. Tell us, when we work hard to make you president, what are you going to make us, as a community? Merus are very good civil servants. Even when they retire, they still go back to the office to see whether the office is running well. So when you pick top civil servants, remember that. 2, we are talking about these resources. We need them. So tell us whether you are going to allocate more resources, including those ones in BBI, to Meru County, when even before you get there, because you have a lot of influence even in Parliament. 3, what plans do you have for our youth? You have heard them talk here. What plans do you have for our farmers? What plans do you have for the road network, which you know very well in Meru County? What plans do you have about our water? Such things. These days, politicians have become very clever. In the search for votes, they know the poor people, the marginalized, the youth, there are more in terms of voters in this country. So everybody, even those who don't mean it, are talking the economic language of the poor. That's what we are talking today. Others going to great lengths to show how poor they are, even when they are not. We don't want idle, empty talk about poverty. We don't want to glorify poverty as the people of Meru. I've said my personal mission is to make Meru great. I want our people to be rich and prosperous. So please share with us any ideas that you have which are going to make Meru rich and prosperous. Those who don't have, that they can have. Those who are poor today, so that they can be rich tomorrow. That is what we are talking about. As I conclude, Meru is known for a very unique commodity called Meru. We are the only ones on this earth whom God has blessed with that commodity called Meru. And tumeona tumeletewa. We are holding a Meru scientific conference in Nairobi next year. We are calling it a scientific and commercialization conference. And we want to see how we can modernize the Meru trade. Our market in Somalia has been closed. We have to be more imaginative. We want Meru to appear in our supermarkets. We want even those wazungus who don't want to eat leaves to drink Meru juice and Meru wine in Europe. So we want you to support us in that enterprise as an engineer and as an industrialist. Since the closure of Somalia market, there's been a lot of poverty in Nyambene region. People are waiting for famine relief from us. People who are able and people who used to give us money. We'll be very happy if you can help us use your influence to first open the Somalia market, but also because I know you are a personal friend of the president of DRC Congo, Mheshimiwa Tshisekedi. I've even seen you with him at Serena Hotel just before he became president. And I know you and Titus have visited him in Kinshasa. Can you use that friendship to open for us a Meru market in Congo, in Kinshasa, so that we can supplement the market which has been closed? And that one doesn't have to wait for you to become president, because you're already seeing him now. I think you can go, and then we'll be very happy to send Munjuri and a few people, for that mission. Sorry, I've talked too much, but I couldn't talk for a shorter period. Mheshimiwa Maore has told you, the ground in Meru is not very good. And I like the spirit of Oburu Odinga. If there are problems, it is our duty to solve those problems. I know you are never afraid of a struggle. We have struggled before. Even now, we can open a new front of the struggle. Those demons that we planted, the crocodiles which we put in the rivers, we are going to remove them so that you can take people to Canaan. So, with those few remarks, I will request all of you now to be upstanding and start clapping. And you continue until the Prime Minister gets here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Karibu, Excellency, Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Asante sana, Bwana Governor. Judge, my old friend, Mr. Chairman, all protocols observed. Meru Mugeni Kairi, asanteni sana. I'm very delighted to have opportunity to once again talk to Meru in a closed session. Initially, I was given to understand there was going to be no media. But as usual, paparazzi keep on following us wherever we go. And they're keen to highlight what we are saying. But I'm so happy, I feel so much part of this.
I look down there, I see Lawrence there. I see my boy there, Morocco. I see Macarena here. Remember, Baba, while you are away, that's Morocco there. Then I see Professor here. I mean, I see so many familiar faces. Yeah. So I'm very delighted. And it's nice that you invited us for a luncheon. And I want to quote here one author who once said that there is something profoundly satisfying about sharing a meal, eating together, breaking bread together. Is one of the oldest and most fundamentally unifying of human experiences. That we have shared a meal together today. What I did not see is the Meru potatoes. We here love. They were there, but they were not from Meru. Those are from Kiambu. I know the Meru potatoes when I see them. But it's nice to have this opportunity to talk generally. Just over, 16 days ago, we were in Nakuru. In Nakuru there, I talked about the unity of our people. I gave a message that was Azimio ya Umoja. That is a call to unity of our people. This is actually drawn from our MOU of the handshake with Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, that we need to unite our people to become one as Kenyans. This is when we can be able to realize the Kenyan dream as coined by the founding fathers of our nation. He says that God bless this land of ours, justice be our shield and defender, may we dwell in unity, peace and liberty, plenty be found within our borders. I myself believe strongly that that Kenyan dream is realizable, where people live together in unity in diversity, and plenty are found within our borders. It is possible. So I hear among friends, the justice here in Ngera and Kiraitu, they were practicing together. Gibson, Kamau, Korea, Kiraitu, and Ngera advocates. They were my advocates. In fact, they were representing all of us, me also, and later on Charles Ovia and Kenneth Matiba. And then I was told one day in the morning, I went to my office and I found policemen in the corridor, sitting there. I passed them, I went into the office. Then they came and told me that, you know, you should not worry about us here. We've been asked to just come and sit here. You can just go about doing your work. Our duty here is to ensure that Matiba and Rubia do not come to see you here. And they said Kiraitu and Kamau Korea. And also, you are not supposed to go to their offices. When you go there, there are also officers in their offices who will not allow you to go inside. So I told them that, you know, I don't mind about Matiba and Rubia, but Kiraitu and Kamau Korea are lawyers of this company I work for. So if you deny me access to my lawyers, how can I do business? Then they made some calls, and then they came back and told me, you may go and see your lawyers, but you'll find the policemen there also, but you'll be allowed to see the lawyers. I did not have business to do with them that day, but I decided to walk into the offices. And I found policemen outside there. But then the following day, this was on the 2nd, because we had announced that we were going to have a Sabasaba meeting at Kamkunji. On the 2nd of July, Matiba and Robia were arrested. Then on the 4th of July, they came for me. And then Keynote happened to have gone for a conference in Addis Ababa. When he realized things were not good, he did not come back. he took off. But they managed to get in Manyara. They managed to get John Hamino. It was Paul Mute who went into hiding and was not found. Just basically to tell you where you've come from. He's told you we have been in the trenches together for a long time. That's when eventually Matiba Rubia suffered serious infection in detention, which would eventually result in his almost losing his vocal cords. Matiba suffered a stroke that completely turned him into a garbage the rest of his life. So that is really where we're coming from as a country. But those struggles are not in vain, because they produce the society we're having today. Today, somebody can go and talk openly against a president and nothing will happen to him. That is the kind of democratic space that we've been able to open. And I think this is positive. So what do we want to do now? We want to move forward. And I'm happy to talk to a Meru business community and politicians for Meru here. Because Meru is part of Kenya. And Meru people are peace-loving people, but they're also very brave people. But they're also very hard-working people at the same time. Very brave. I know that kind of struggle that they went through. I have with me here a special pass. This special pass is called Kikuyu, Embu, and Meru Passbook. This was a passbook that was being kupanda milima, which you had to have in those days. If you are a Meru, a Kikuyu, or a Embu, to travel in Kenya. And whenever you are trying to come to Nairobi, you have to go to a chief and to endorse. And you have to state where you are going to and which route you are going to use. This here. But even against this, the Meru people and the Kikuyus and the Embus, they rose up and struggled for freedom. And eventually, freedom was won in our country. So the independence we are enjoying today did also not come easily. It came with a lot of sweat and toil and suffering. Even the second liberation also came with sweat and toil and suffering. But we are here today. We now need to move forward, to take it further forward now, from where the people left it. And Keynote has posed a challenge to me, has asked me fundamental questions. And I just want to answer him. by first saying that Meru are part of Kenya. But there are certain issues which are specific to Meru, which are different in other parts of Kenya. Like Meru land is very rich in terms of weather, agricultural production. These are some of the areas they called in session paper number 10 high-yielding areas, where you needed to invest because there's a higher rate of return. But there have been challenges since that time. You know, coffee is grown there, tea grows there. You've got now avocados, which have been introduced as a new cash crop in the area. You've got milk produced in the area. And then you've got Mira, which is, of course, experiencing challenges. But Mira has been actually a revenue earner, a major revenue earner in the past, until it experienced the challenges of being banned, particularly in Europe. But if that happens, then you need to think out of the box. One, you look for alternative markets. Somalia is having challenges. You find a way of opening up the Somali market. There's also Somaliland, which is up there. You find a way of how you can get access to the Somaliland. You mentioned, you challenged me about DRC. I invite you to come with me to my friend. But you can also do value addition and make the product more acceptable in areas where it has been banned. We can think out of the box and find ways in which you can do processing of Mira rather than just sending raw weed to Europe, which has been banned. So these are some of the things that I'm referring to when I say think out of the box. Reforms have been carried out in the tea sector to break the monopoly. But I still think that we need to do more value addition so that our farmers can be able to get more for their efforts, both in tea and in coffee sector. Avocado is the new gold, which is coming and which also need to be promoted. That's something dairy farmers would need to be assisted. I say, don't think that our farmers are getting value for their efforts. I think you can make some improvement in that one as well. Now, but what's important is really value addition at the farm level, down there. Creating processing plants that add value and therefore create more wealth for the people down there. This is something that we are actually planning to do going forward. And then we have got a youth. The Meru have got, just like other part of the country, the population is fairly young, youthful. And I've been saying that a youth can be a blessing or a curse. If you do not empower them, then they become drug addicts, delinquents, criminals. But if they are empowered through skills, if opportunities created right from nursery through primary, secondary, and post-secondary, you create skills then they become a source for wealth creation. And this is something that we can do together. Then you need to have more resources down there. This is what we had planned with BBI. BBI was very well intentioned. After the crashes that we had post-2017 elections, we sat down with my brother Uhuru, and it took us a long time to discuss and isolate issues which we thought are ailing Kenya. Not just the elections of 2013, 2017, but what is it that has made Kenya stagnate from independence up to now, over 50 years? Why have we not been able to realize the Kenyan dream? And I gave an example. There's a book written by experts in Korea. They're talking about the Korean miracle. And in that book, they're saying that in 1952, Ethiopia sent troops, 2,600 troops, to South Korea to help South Korea fight against the North. 2,600 troops were sent by Ethiopia. Meaning at that time, Ethiopia was a more developed economy than South Korea. Fast forward, 50 years later, Koreans are building schools, are building universities, are building roads in Ethiopia. This time around, the per capita income in Ethiopia is $380. In Korea, it is over $20,000. So you ask yourself, what is it that happened? What did the Koreans get right, which the Ethiopians got wrong? You see? And in that book, you find the solution. What they did right and what the Ethiopians got wrong. So there are many ways of dealing with these issues. Create as many challenges. The infrastructure. When I was Minister for Roads, my permanent secretary was Engineer Mongera. And with him, we designed the road network in Meru. What remains is just implementation of that program. You don't need to reinvent the wheel again. Okay? We rural access roads, which will enable farmers to access markets with their wares quickly. Easy to be done. Then, when I was in my other incarnation, I was Minister for Energy. And I'm the one who turned rural electrification into an infrastructure, bringing energy closer to the people. That is another program that can be expanded to reach the villages. He's talking about what? Of course, here you have got responsibilities at the national level and at the county level. He is the governor. He has got a responsibility, and the national government has got a responsibility. Not far away from there, there's a plan, and he knows it. There's a place called Mutonga. We had planned Grand Falls Mutonga, which is in the border, Tharaka-Nithi, Kitui, and this is there. That is where we intended to build the last and the biggest dam on the Tana to generate up to 1,000 megawatts of electricity. And then you have sufficient water to supply the whole of that region. And you can do also big, huge irrigations in those areas, using that water down there. But we had also planned there the LAPSET, the Lamu Port, South Sudan, and the Ethiopia Transport Corridor. And it's passing through this area here. You make this area a transit route. Then there's also the other one which is going down. You had planned when I was a minister for roads. Kibwezi, Kitui, Mwingi, then you come through Meru to Isiolo, and then it joins this other one going to Addis Ababa. And then you also have the branch going through Samburu to Juba. And then you connect, because we are doing Mr. Chairman is the chairman of LAPSET. And you know, we are doing a corridor. It's not just going Lamu Port, South Sudan, but it's going through South Sudan into Central African Republic, into Cameroon, to the port of Okribi, to connect the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean and create that land corridor and open up the interior of Africa. That will create a big market. Then you do not even need to go and beg for your Mira market. You can send it to South Sudan, send it to Central African Republic, to the Cameroon, and so on. So there are many things that can be done working together. But I'm talking about this issue of economy mashinani, and that was in the BBI. And we talked of minimum 35% going down to the counties. That itself will help revolutionize life down there. As the governor said, it is putting 6 billion shillings extra into the coffers of the county government. That will help the county government, because at the moment, the amount of money that is going down there, big chunk of it is just going for recurrent expenditures, paying salaries to the staff down there. But you need additional funding for infrastructure and other services like health and water and so on and so forth, agriculture. I myself am convinced that the BBI had a solution to our problems. And you just say, put it on the side right now, but we will ensure that it is implemented. We will ensure that it is implemented for the good of our people. There are some of it which were not even constitutional amendments, like in putting up a fund, a youth fund, which the youth can be able to go and borrow from without having to pay any interest for 7 years, so that they're able to start up new ventures. That is something that can still be implemented without. They are saying that we are looking for jobs for the people. But the minister himself, he was a minister for justice and constitutional affairs in those days, when we were at Bomas of Kenya. And he knows the kind of executive structure which we came out with from Bomas of Kenya. It is not the one that we are having here today. It was discussed, if you're talking about a constituent assembly, Bomas was a constituent assembly. And Bomas came up with a structure which was in the BBI. And we were saying, oh, the people were trying to create jobs for the people. Job for the people. No. That executive structure was much cheaper than the one we are having today. But that again is a subject for another day. So therefore, Let me just say this. I say that we have a project to transform this country. And let me say we want to form a partnership. I want to form a partnership with the Meru people. That we are in this together. It is not that, oh, you're taking me up there and so on, no. I've not yet announced, I'm still consulting. But I'm saying that my view is to form a partnership with the people so that we are going in it together. And that when we reach there, we will have everything together. We have a clear program for the youth, a very clear program for the women of Meru, who are like the women of Kenya. We must ensure that our women are properly empowered. We must discard some of the old archaic traditions that tended to demean the women. The Kenyan women must arise, must be given the opportunity so that they can be able to play the meaningful role that they richly deserve. Our women don't want handouts. They don't want to be treated like second-class citizens. They are first-class citizens like everybody else. So we need to just create opportunities. And we start with the girl child. The girl child must be enabled to get quality education like the boy child. And we know the issues that sometimes mitigate against girls. They must be assisted so that they can perform. And you've seen when they are given equal opportunities, some of them perform better than boys. So we need to empower our women. A country cannot grow if only half the country is working and half is being denied opportunity to make contribution. You must enable them to all make contributions. Equally, our disabled people, my friend Macarena here, it was just an accident and it's there. But they're saying that disability is not inability. People with disability are able to make contributions just like anybody else. So we must make our society more disability friendly. Access to buildings, access to places of work, and so on. This can be done. It can be done with commitment. So we are talking about a total development where we empower each and every member of our society. Niliambiwa ya kwamba nikisiposema Kiswahili wengine watakuwa hawajaelewa. Lakini yale ambayo mimi nasema ni ya kwamba sisi tuko kwa safari. Tunataka kuunganisha Wakenya kwa sababu juzi mimi nilitoa wito nikasema azimio ya umoja. Na vile vile nikasema inawezekana. Yaani Kenya mpya inawezekana. Tukiungana pamoja kama Wakenya, hakuna kitu ambayo inaweza kutuzuia sisi kupata yale tunayotaka. Mzungu ndiye alikuwa na nguvu zaidi. Mzungu alikuwa na mzinga, alikuwa na jeshi, alikuwa na kila kitu. Lakini watu wetu walisimama, wakasema hatuwezi kukaa na hii kitu. Wakakataa. Wakaenda wakachukua mabaskeli, wakachukua ile frame baskeli wakatengeneza naye bunduki. Wakaanza kupigana huko mzituni. Akina Jarabai Mungi wa Meru huko. Meru has several generals. And very many Meru people died in the struggle for liberation of this country. So we must not let the dreams of those people go to naught. Ndoto yao ambayo walisema ati Mungu bariki nchi yetu ya Kenya, haki iwe ngao na mlinzi, tukae na undugu, amani na uhuru, na raha tupate na ustawi. Nchi ambayo kuna raha na ustawi ndio ni Kanaani katika Biblia. Ninasema sio Raila ndiye amesema tunaenda Kanaani. Waanzilishi wa taifa letu ndio walisema, wakaandika katika wimbo wetu wa taifa ati nchi ile ambayo kuna mana na asali, Kanaani yetu, na inawezekana. Ndio tunasema Kenya mpya inawezekana. Kenya mpya inawezekana. Lakini sio Kenya hii ambayo ninasema ni Kenya ambayo ina ustawi, Kenya ambayo kila mtu anapata nafasi ya kufanya kazi sawa sawa. Sio Kenya pale ambayo watu wanabeba mawheelbarrow na nini na nini. Kwa hivyo mimi sitaki kuongea mingi zaidi, nimeongea ya kutosha. Nataka kutoa shukrani sana kwa gavana, kwa chairman, na kwa justice na profesa na vijana wote ambao wamefika hapa siku ya leo. Nasema asanteni sana kwa kunisikiza. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's give a clap to, Right Honorable. Thank you. Let's sit down. We just want to spend another 5-10 minutes so that we seek some bit of ownership of this occasion by people participating. Your Excellency, I'm being accused by Makarina, our governor, the role I played in 2017 in the classroom of political science. The little that I do know, because I'm a scientist, I was told there are two ways to have the tallest building in a city. One, you build yours to be the tallest so that the others can remain shorter than yours. Alternatively, you destroy all the others so that your two-story building becomes the tallest. That's what we did in 2017, in 2013. We tried to destroy other people's buildings so ours could remain the tallest. But this time, we have convinced ourselves, Your Excellency, with the support of all the people who are here, we want to build our house to be the tallest in the city. That's a commitment. Number two, Your Excellency, the LAPSET program that I do chair the board of has got what if you can remember, what we call the outer corridor. The outer corridor is 50 kilometers either side of the infrastructure corridor, whereby we plan for the social amenities, we plan the towns, we plan for schools, health centers, hospitals, all those. So LAPSET will come in handy, and Meru town and other towns in Meru are part of that economic corridor. So it is, through that initiative which you started in your office when you are the Prime Minister, that we'll see those developing taking place along the corridor from Lamu all the way to Nakodok, the border of South Sudan and Kenya, and all the way to Moyale, the border of Ethiopia and Kenya. But today, Your Excellency, is not my day. You have given us, your remarks, your assurances, your commitment, and the promise that you've given us, the Merus. So allow me to break the protocol a bit, because this is a political process we are following. Allow me, we break the protocol a bit. We invite a few people in the plenary to support what other leaders of Meru have said, but not repeating themselves, just in support. And I want to give this opportunity to the Master of Ceremony to conduct that in the shortest time possible. Just 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, I want you to call Dr. Diakono to come and pray for us in Meru, and then we all say thank you and God bless you. Thank you very much. We'll see you another time. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. A round of applause for our Chairman today. Now, as I invite these great people, please remember you have only a minute and then to Malize. So we're beginning with Dr. Kilemi Mwiria. You have a minute to come and endorse what the Prime Minister said. Then Majority Leader Karevi, Ukai Karibu, Youth Leader Osomotembei, closer.
Yeah,
all right, Dr. Kilemi Mwiria, because yours also is coming again for vote of thanks, we'll do them combined. Your remarks plus the vote of thanks, please don't go anywhere. It's only 10 minutes. So, Majority Leader Karevi, Victor Karevi, please, faster, so that we finish this. And then Mutembei, come closer. Each of you have a minute.
Thank you. The former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, a great Kenyan who we celebrate, our governor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Victor Kareithi Mutuma. I'm an MCA, the leader of Majority Party in Meru. And sorry for coming in a little late. I just have a comment. I've listened very carefully to the submission by His Excellency, the former Prime Minister, and I must confirm that just like my governor said, we at Meru are making calculations. We've had a rough time in the opposition in the past. We spent the entire period when the former president Moi was in power in the opposition, and we would hate to do a similar mistake. That is why we are making our calculations, and we have to make sure that come next year we are right at the middle of the government. That is what we are saying as people of Meru, and we will not hesitate to embrace all the leaders who are willing to embrace us. So the former Prime Minister, we are excited, we are happy, and we look forward to engaging some more with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for Victor Karevi. And now the youth, Mutembei. Mutembei, karibu.
Meru Mugen. Okay. Huh? Okay. Waziri Mkuu, mawaziri na wabunge wako hapa, gavana, mimi naitwa Renford Mutembei, Mount Kenya Caucus. Mimi nitasema mambo mawili peke yake. Kwanza tunataka baba apande mlima, alafu atuelezea akiwa hapo kwa mlima hivyo wamesema hajatangaza kama atasimama au namna gani. Number 2, Bwana Waziri Mkuu, tumezunguka sana na kuna mambo mingi naongewa ambayo si ya ukweli.
Time during Moi's time, students were not allowed to invite opposition leaders. I remember we invited so many of the opposition leaders to come and participate in the education symposium. One of them was Raila Odinga. We had invited Joya, we had invited Muite, all sorts of opposition leaders. And the only person who managed to enter the university, despite the heavy presence of police, was Raila Odinga. Others did not manage. I can tell you, Raila, you'll be able to climb Mount Kenya. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mutuma. And now I invite Winnie Kaburu to come and give her remarks briefly. All protocols have been observed, so twende direct to the point. Winnie Kaburu, karibu sana, in less than a minute.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Winnie Kaburu. I was the former and the founder of KEPSA. I worked very closely with His Excellency, the Prime Minister, Raila Odinga. We have been campaigning for him in Meru in the last elections. And unfortunately, we got very many votes, and we nursed everybody. So to us, it was not a loss, Your Excellency. We put our foot in Meru, and that was very important. I vying also for Deputy President in 2013 with Professor Ole Kiapi, and if you gave us enough votes, we wouldn't be having the problems we're having today for Deputy President, because I would have made a very good Deputy President. So Baba, don't forget that ile mlima ingine iko na watu wanaweza kuwa hapo juu. You remember even the name you have, Baba, came from our area by Morocco. I think Morocco is somewhere here. That is a man from Ugembe, and he called you Baba, and it has become a worldwide name. So can you clap for our people in Ugembe and Meru? So we love you, we like you. Just come and talk to us nicely, give us nice posts, and we will be there with you. Where I come from in Meru, we have just only one PS, Kaberia Keremi. And now we have a man who is really talking for us. Is Honorable Maoka Maore. A gentleman, a man who is able to bring everybody together. That's why we are here together today. The Imentis, the Tiganyas, the Igembes are one. So bring us together. Politics is interest, as you have already said. There are no enmities. Very soon we will all be saying very good things about Baba. But if we get up there and he makes us sit on the table, we are seeing men sitting. We are not seeing any women being the ones sitting in that table negotiating for this country. We don't just want to be civil servants. We want to be there, making decisions and knowing where we are going. We are hard-working people. We have got very good people who are working in the civil servants. You have an example. When we started KEPSA, and we were helped a lot by our senior Mudaura, who is not here today, he helped us. He called the all PSs to tell us we must start KEPSA. His Excellency also supported us, and we formed that body. We were able to reduce licenses from 6 to 1, which is called today the...
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Morocco M. Jafet. Vile mmesikia mimi ndio mwanzilishi wa Baba Well Your Way. nilikuwa na sababu ya kumwambia baba, while you are away, what happened, kwa sababu wakati huo nchi yetu ilikuwa inachomeka. Mimi sio mwenda wazimu, but wakati alikuja tumetembea naye Kenya mzima kuhakikisha anashughulikia yale mambo ambayo yalikuwa yameharibika. Naona bado tuko kwa hiyo safari mpaka mwisho. Sasa baba, wana wa Israeli iliwachukua miaka 40 kwenda Kanani. Wakati ulianza ukombozi, leo tuko mwaka wa 39. Next year ni mwaka ya 40 na ndio mwaka unaenda kutukomboa kama wana wa Israeli. Kitu ya pili kwako baba, hatuzungumzii kama utasinda. Kusinda umesinda mara 3. Kitu tunazungumzia ni kuwa hand over power. Kitu ya pili, mimi nauliza president wetu Raila Uhuru Kenyatta akusike mkono atembee na wewe mlima Kenya mbega kwa mbega. Kwa maana umekamatana mkono naye ikakuwa ni mkono ya amani. Sasa hiyo amani tunataka atembee na wewe mbega kwa mbega, asikutume upande mlima peke yako, apande na wewe, kwa sababu watu wa mlima wako tayari kukupokea. Ile mambo watoto walikuwa wanaambiwa kula chakula ama niite Raila imepita. Sasa ni wakati ya kuambiana ukweli. Na kuna watu ambao hawangeitwa majina bila meaning. Jina Raila inamaanisha Reliable African Intellectual Liberation Act. Amolo inamaanisha Institute Mobilizer of Legislative Order. Na Odinga inamaanisha Often Dedicated Inspiration for National Growth and Accountability. Mimi nakusapoti kwa sababu najua unaweza. Dream ya Kenya wewe ndio unabeba. Dream ya Afrika wewe ndio unabeba. Ile kitu ambayo inatakikana ni upewe nafasi peke yake. Kwa sababu sasa bila kuwa na nafasi hatutakuwa nayo. Mambo ya miraa, najua ulianzisha department katika serikali ya Kenya ambayo inaitwa Kenya Bureau of Standards. Leo hii chairman wa Kenya Bureau of Standards ni Meru. Ako pale engineer Bernard Gore. Mambo ya miraa amejaribu na bodi yake wamehakikisha imekuwa standards ili iwe inatambulika kama bidhaa zingine duniani. So ile kitu tunahitaji sasa kuanzia hapa ni soko. Na soko tunajua tukiwa na wewe lazima itapatikana. Sina mengi ya kusema zaidi ya yao. Mungu awabariki.
Asante. Moroko kidogo kabla uende kuna kitu umesahau. Alafu ndio uende. Ulisema baba while you are away. Sasa unasema sema sasa hapa tusikie. Ulisema baba while you are away. Sasa
nasema baba aende Ikulu. Sitaki baba aendelee kukalia mawe tena.
Sawa. Asante, makofi kwa Moroko. Next, wacha niite Alfred Barrio to give your remarks in a minute. Alfred Barrio.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. My name is Alfred Barrio. Mine is just to echo something that for and on behalf of the youth. The youth band, as we know, demographically, is quite a broad band. And if we are going to help this country, I would want to plead with our leaders and in our manifestos and in the political dispensation that we are going in, that we try and ensure that the youth is empowered. A youth who is healthy, educated, and economically empowered leads to a better nation. The parents are better, their children are going to be better, the manufacturers with an economically empowered youth, the purchasing power is better. So I would really urge that that broad band, which constitutes about 60% of this country, if the youth is doing well, when a youth has got something in the pocket to trade with, to purchase, actually, when you think about it, when the youth have something to spend, they become the greatest or biggest taxpayers by virtue of being consumers. Consumption tax, as we all know, everyone pays it from whatever specter of, or from whatever size of, or from whatever band of the economy that you are participating in. So for me, I'm urging Baba that one of the quickest ways of making sure, and I think this is something that was done again in the government that you had, the government of national unity, if we can go back there, retrace our steps, and make sure that the youth forms a very large portion of the focus of the new governments to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mario. As you can hear, it's about the youth, and the youths. Let's welcome Mithika Mzalendo to give his one remark. Mithika Mzalendo. Mithika Mzalendo. All right, as he comes, James Mithika. James Mithika, come and give your remarks. Welcome, James. There is a youth amesikia baba amesema wakoloni walikuja na mizinga. Kaniuliza, ni Johnny Walker.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, Baba Raila Odinga, all protocols observed. Your Excellency, you have the lake and we have the crocodile. And from now on, we're going to swim in the lake with our crocodile, Governor Zero, number 12. Let me say this. In 2002, you taught us how to synergize and create coalitions. You did a coalition with the Honorable Moi Kibaki in his NAK, and you with your LDP, and we were able to bring Kano down. Coalitions work. In 2017, you formed a grand coalition with Honorable Moi Kibaki, and today we can attest the marvelous development that came after that. We are here to tell you, Your Excellency, that Watu wa Meru want to do a coalition with you. We want to swim in the lake with our crocodile. Number two, Your Excellency, I come from Igembe Central. My name is James Mithika, you've heard, and not the other Mithika you know about. I came from the Igembe Central, a constituency that has 221,000 people, a constituency you had fought so hard to have BBI passed so that you give us an extra constituency. It never happened because BBI was vandalized by our judicial system. In 2022, Your Excellency, I'm going to vote for a leader who believes that Igembe Central deserves another constituency. In 2022, I'm going to vote for a leader who believes that pesa mashinani ni pesa ya kusaidia wananchi wetu, sio kupiga kelele. In 2022, I'm not going to vote a leader who is addicted to lies. Uongo ya kwamba atelewa mimi sina askari. Uongo ya kwamba kuku alindwe na Reki Company. I'm going to vote for a leader who believes that we can move this country together on a path of reformation. Lastly, Your Excellency, I come from Meru, and these are Merus, now your friends. And Meru is made up of 3 brothers and 3 sisters. And they live together in harmony, in progress, and in the table of brotherhood. We want to come to you. Some have told us, hatuwezi enda kwa wao, hata na watoto wetu. Tunataka tuingie kwako na watoto wetu, mabibi zetu, na hata tulete kuku wetu. Wengine wametuambia tuache hata kuku zetu kule na hata ng'ombe zetu. We want to come all of us to you. We are not going to vote for addicts in sympathy seeking. We are not going to vote for people who are addicted to lies, but for a person who has a track record of reforming this country. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mithika. And now, the last person, and of course giving us the vote of thanks, let's welcome Dr. Kilemi Mwiria as he gives the brief remarks and vote of thanks. Dr. Diankono, tukae tayari.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, MC, the Prime Minister, my governor. I have 2 years because I live in Meru and in Nairobi, where we have Kananu. I want to just say, how grateful I am to be here today and to see so many Merus committed to supporting you to be president, even if you have not announced. We come a long way, from when I was at the university. But I remember mostly in 2018, when you did the handshake, I brought a delegation to your office of Merus from across the whole of Meru County because the BBI that you stood for, and two principles that I believed in the most: the fight against corruption and the fight against tribalism. The biggest problems we have in this country. If we can solve those problems, we'll be 70% done with our problems. Although you have not declared to be president, I think these people from Meru have kind of given you a vote of confidence already. And the reason is because you have the qualities. For me, the most important quality is that you have the courage. You have stood with Kenyans when most people didn't have any courage. That's why you were put in. I always, when I talk to people, I tell them, if it was not for Raila Odinga and a few others like Akiraito Moronge, Moi and Kanu would have enslaved us, would be slaves. So for that, we are grateful. You know about the economy, you have fought corruption, you have fought tribalism, but most importantly, from what you told us and the many times you speak, you know what is the problem with Africa as you compare Korea, Ethiopia, and these countries. And the problem is simple. It is governance. If we can solve the problem of governance in this continent, we should be okay. And because you know the problem, we believe that you can be part of resolving that problem. As we support you, we must demystify a lot of the propaganda that you are not electable in Meru County. Yet in 2013, even when Akiraito and others were against you, you got 2 members of parliament. And at least 10% of the vote that came out from Meru. That you have a hatred for Mount Kenya. Yet, without you saying Kibaki Tosha, he would never have been president. Without you doing a handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, this country would have continued to be ungovernable. Without you supporting the BBI, where the biggest beneficiaries would be Mount Kenya, it's the Mount Kenya that would have gotten the most constituencies, it's the Mount Kenya would have gotten the most money, and the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 man, 1 shilling. You cannot hate Mount Kenya. It is not possible. And it's because if you didn't like Meru, you would not have supported our own Kananu to be the governor of Nairobi County. So what we have to do the most is to demystify, to go fight it out. And for me, it's very simple. Just compare the people that are going for the presidency. Ask yourself questions. Who is likely to be the most democratic? Who is likely to fight hardest for the Wanyonge? Who is likely to want to unite this country the most? Who is likely to fight tribalism the most? Who is likely to be most honest, who will not tell lies, without blinking? Who will be ready to support devolution, which will make a big difference in the Mount Kenya region, and so on. So the thing we have to do, the big problem we have in this country, is people like us, business people, and the politicians are not willing to stand up to be counted. We are good at complaining. Ask Raila. When Moi we were being messed up by Moi, most people would just be at the bar counter saying Moi must go. They do nothing. So the point is, I think if you believe in this cause, you must be out there. I blame elites the most because they know what is the problem with this country and they do nothing about it, either by supporting the right candidates or being part of the struggle to ensure we have the right leadership. So therefore, as we do that, it's not enough to say that the ground is bad, because we know why the ground is bad. The ground is bad because people have been told so many lies. The ground is bad because people are poor and are willing to take handouts. The ground is bad because there are people who hold the Bible and say lies even in church, and people believe them. So our business, and clap for them, our business is to go and discount and talk about those lies and tell people that they have been told lies for so many, for so long. Unless we are prepared to do that, forget it. It's not enough to just say, yeah, we're supported, because we know the problem is the lies that people have been told, is the poverty that people have got, who are being bought with handouts. So let me conclude by saying we have a good chance. Raila has contested 3-4 times. And this man, some people say he has won some of the elections. But let me say, I know he has almost won 3 elections. He has almost won 3 elections without the support of Mount Kenya. He has almost won 3 elections with the state machinery against him. He has almost won 3 elections with people like Kiraito Moronge against him, and now they are with him. So if he has almost won 3 elections, and he has the support of the president and the machinery. What does he need to be president? If he got 10% more votes from Mount Kenya region, would he be president? I suspect he would get 20-30%. He does not need 50%. If he's almost won without any support from Mount Kenya, I am sure the president can get him at least 20%. All of us here can get him 20%, and it's game short. I just want to give you this encouragement as we conclude. And just say, please, please, know we have the best chance ever. Finally, let me do what I was asked to do, which is a vote of thanks in 1 minute. To thank all those that helped organize this event, Mount Kenya Foundation and others, including my wife here who spoke, those who have spoken in support of Raila Odinga, including our governor and others. Those who came, who had the courage to come. Some apologies were given about some people who didn't come. I want to thank you for coming and having the courage, because I know some of those who didn't come is because they were afraid of being seen, being associated with this meeting. It is, and that is the problem we have in this country. People don't want to come out and stand out. And let me finally say, we are for this partnership. I'll stand with it, and I hope all of us can go in this together. Let us please fight the good fight for this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kilemi Mwiria.